Hello and welcome to this ProMonitor guide on setting up student and tutor groups and adding students. This short video guide will show you how to set up your student groups, how to set up a separate tutor group, how to add students to these groups, and setting risk ratings for students.
So this is your main home page for ProMonitor, which will detail and highlight all of your student groups and tutor groups that you're assigned to. The main bar at the top is pretty much everything about ProMonitor, how you go to the home page, how you search, how you run reports, and any help guides or anything you need help with or tips about ProMonitor. Also focus on the academic year at the top. If you are on the wrong year, you will not be able to find any of your students, so make sure that is reading 2013/14. On the left there is your student groups, tutor groups, and an option how to create tutor groups and manage them. This short video will show you how to set up all these groups and assign yourself as teachers on tutor groups. The smart targets. Any smart targets you set will appear here, so you can keep a daily track of them. Any students you make at risk will also highlight on here and will change accordingly to how you set them. And any comments that you make for other tutors will appear on a notice board just here. So this is how you search for a student group. You simply go to a search button at the top and a drop down menu will appear and you will select student groups. From there this screen will appear. You will then be able to search for a student code, a group title, a course title, or even just a teacher's name, and from which a list will appear at the bottom of which you can select a student group from. Once you've clicked on the student group that appeared at the bottom of the previous page, this should appear, and if these are your students on this list, you will then be able to assign yourself as a tutor, which by clicking on the yellow bar at the top that says click here, and you should then be able to assign yourself as a teacher for that course. So if this student group that you're trying to assign is also your tutor group, you can simply go down to the maintenance section at the bottom and go down to the fifth one down that says create tutor group. That is an easier way of assigning a whole group as a tutor group, but I will explain this in further detail as we go into adding a tutor group in a different way. But just be aware that none of this can actually be done until all students have been enrolled and are registered on through the STAGS team. So another way of adding a tutor group is to select create tutor group on the main home page, and if you were struggling to get back to this page, all you've got to do is click the home button from where you previously were and you shall return to this dashboard. Once you've clicked tutor group, it will go into the next menu. Once you've clicked create tutor group, this window shall appear, and you can simply give your tutor group a title of your choice and a code of your choice, and from there you can then select if it is protected, which means you'll be the one who can import and edit all students, or you can assign other tutors to it. And you can also choose an option if you would like your tutor group to be hidden from the main ILP. My advice would be, if you're an academic tutor, you would keep these open and available and not hide them. And the only team that I would suggest that does hide them for any safeguarding issues would be the student services. From clicking on create on the previous page, this box should appear. This will allow you to add and remove tutors to your tutor group, and it will also allow you to add and remove students if you have not already done so on the previous student group page. This is an alternative way of creating a tutor group. And to make sure that you can tell the difference between if you're on your tutor group or the student group is purple and the tutor group is green, as you can see. To make sure that you have done this correctly, you will be able to tell by looking at the left hand side and seeing which groups are assigned as student groups and which groups are assigned by tutor groups, and depending on what you've named them, you'll be able to tell the difference between the two. As you can see, learning support are here and the codes are up here, as Mr. Whitehouse has labelled his learning support test. So setting learners risk rating, what this means is that if you set them at high risk, they'll become red. If they're medium risk, they'll go amber around the outside, and if they're absolutely perfect, they'll be green. How to do this: from your tutor group, you can select any student, and all you've got to do, when the student details come up, it will show which courses they're assigned on, all their details, their name at the top. All of these have been censored for safeguarding issues, and what you need to do is go down to risk indicators at the bottom, and a new window will appear. Once you've clicked on the name, this shall appear. Again, you'll be able to tell if you've got the right student because their name will appear at the top and their picture in the top left. What you need to do is click on the button Edit, and then you can assign them on this drop down menu here, whether they're a high risk, medium risk or a low risk. Do put a reason why they are high risk, as when students do eventually use this software, they will see all their risk ratings and general notes that you have made about them through one-to-one meetings. As you can see, this learner is on a high risk due to poor attendance and missing deadlines. And I'll talk about this one on the next slide. So, once you've set your risk rating for your whole group, you'll be able to go onto your student details, and wherever the student pictures appear, it will always have their risk rating highlighted. As you can see, there are only 2 students at risk on this course at the moment, and she's highlighted as red and there's one in amber. Once the whole group is done, it will be colour coded all down that side. Advice that we're given from the ProMonitor training, which I will leave for each department to decide for themselves. I know sport is definitely adopting this, and we are going to assign all new starters as a red risk rating, just because in the first 5 to 6 weeks it is crucial that they meet all their targets in order to get them to achieve and stay on, and we retain these students. Therefore, rather than all starting green and then slowly creeping down the ladder to become a red student, it's quite demotivating. If they start all as red, the only way is up, and they will strive and hopefully be motivated to become a green.
We hope this guide has helped you get started with creating your student groups and tutor groups and setting up your students. If you have some questions still, you might prefer to read the guides provided by Compass, which are available on the staff intranet under the heading of ProMonitor, and you will find them down the side. All the guides are down here as PDF documents. They're fairly easy to access, lots of screenshots, not too much text, so do have a read through these at your leisure. If you've got a more serious concern, please do approach your line manager for more guidance.